JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 19th of April 2021. So, yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's afternoon session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis, so you feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is the German index DAX, and yep, we can see that today the German index is drifting a little bit here to the downside. Let me just zoom in here so that we could see a bit of a more clear picture. So yeah, overall, I mean, we're still trading above this upside line seen from the low, the 26th of February. Today, this morning, if you remember, when I was covering the German index here, I said that if we drop and stay below the 15,474 territory right here, then yes, there is a good chance we could see the index drifting lower, and if it stays below this area, then this is where you could start maybe considering a bit of a larger corrective move here to the downside. However, of course, we're not really rushing into anything yet. First, we want to see how it's going to trade in relation to this 15,474 territory. Don't forget that if, for example, the index stays today somewhere around this area, it may drift back up here tomorrow, test this hurdle again, and if it struggles to push above it, then another slide could be possible. So we've seen such scenarios happening before, but of course, if it climbs back and stays above the 15,474 territory, yes, we will continue aiming for the upside. And yep, for now guys, it's an interesting spot here for the German index. Can we remain below last week's high here near the 15,474? Well, let's wait and see, guys. For now, everything's kind of leaning a little bit more towards a larger correction to the downside. The US NASDAQ 100, and yeah, you can see, let me just zoom in here as well. So as you can see here, we had a good run last week, and yep, we managed to stay above this barrier, this 14,000 mark, and of course, yes, everything is kind of looking quite interesting here for now for the bulls. However, if we take a look at the cash index right now, we'll see that the price is back below this psychological 14,000 mark. Now, what does that mean? That there's a chance for maybe seeing a bit of a corrective move lower. However, my preference still remains here near this 13,880 territory right here, because just to be a little bit more on the safe side, I would prefer to wait for a drop below that hurdle before, let's say, considering a larger correction to the downside here, because what could still happen is we could see a drift lower, but then let's say a rebound from that from this key support zone near the 13,880, and then yes, the buying activity could resume. But if the daily candle drops below this hurdle, this highlighted area, then this increases the chances for a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. A quick update on DXY, and look at this beautiful move here. So this morning we were still hanging fractionally above this 91.36 territory. I spoke about this level, and what I said was that we prefer to kind of aim for the downside, and my next target, mentioned that my next target will be this 91.36, which we managed to reach. But not only that, we managed to overcome it and test my other level here that I had here on the chart, the 91.05 territory, which previously acted as a good area of resistance. Now it seems that it's taking the role of support. So now the big question here is how this is going to end up being today, because if the 91.05 territory continues to provide support, then something like this here could happen. We might see a nice rebound back to the upside. However, there's always a however, guys. Yes, if we do see a rebound here and move back up, certainly that's great. We might maybe consider a bit of a move higher, but there is a little downside line here for us to keep in mind, and this downside line is drawn from the high of the 31st of March. So or actually, let me just, well, yeah, actually, it's from the 31st of March. So, if you want to go for some upside here, and if you want to go for some higher levels, then probably wait for not only the 92 territory, of course, that's kind of maybe a safer bet here, but we will start looking at the upside already if we get a push. And let me just quickly mark this level here. There we go. Push above the 91.81 territory right here. This marks the high of Friday here, and at the same time, if we get a break above this level, certainly, yes, this downside line will be broken already, and yep, higher levels could be met. So for now, basically, long story short, if we do see a rebound, be very careful with this downside line, and if this holds, yep, another slide could be possible. But if it breaks and we see the price climbing above the 91.81 territory right here, yep, at the same time the price would be placed above the 100-day EMA here, shown as the green line, and then maybe more buyers could join in. So keep that in mind. Now jumping to silver, and silver is performing quite well, I would say, and it's pushing higher. And for now, I would let's keep it short and simple, I would say, because yes, we had a break above this barrier, the 25.46. I talked about this level last week, and yep, we've managed to stay above it. So I'm going to continue targeting the upside. My next target is, well, not this 26.45 level actually, but this one right here, the high of the 18th of March, and that's near the 26.63 territory. And then, yes, we'll take it from there. This is going to be my next target. Slightly above that, we do have the 27.07 territory right here, and then we'll take it from there, guys, because again, let's not rush into anything, so let's go step by step. So that's what I'm saying. That my next target is the 26.63 territory right here. Silver seems to have a good momentum here to the upside, so might as well stick with it for now. And you can see that, yes, the commodity is trading above this upside support line taken from the low, the 31st of March. Now jumping into WTI Oil very quickly. So last week I talked about WTI Oil, and I've mentioned that if it climbs back above this upside line and rises above that 62 territory, this of course could in a way strengthen the upside scenario, and we could see higher levels being met. And the moment you can see that this 63.80 territory here did act as a fantastic area of resistance. Previously it was doing the same thing as well, acting as a good resistance, then support, and now it's taking the role of resistance again. So given that we already had this move higher above this 61.80, 62 territory, I do apologize, 62 territory here, Yes, and we met resistance here near the 63.80. Now the big question here is, like I said, can we move further north? And for that, just to be a little bit more on the safe side, I would prefer to wait for a push above this 63.80 territory and then aim for higher levels. And after that, I would probably aim for the highest point of March near the 68.94, or in a way we could round it up here towards the 68 level. 67.94, yep, that's the highest point of March. But again, like I said, we could round it up here towards the 68 level, and then we'll take it from there, of course. For the downside, well, a break back below this upside line is required, but also maybe just to be a little bit more on the safe side, a drop below this 57.30 territory could do the trick for more sellers, and of course, yes, lower levels could be met here, guys, so keep that in mind. Ethereum did also decline during the weekend. You can see this nice little correction. We managed to reach, last week we managed to reach this area around the 2,500, and well, again, also let's round it up here a little bit, the 2,550 territory. We saw a bit of a decline here, and so far everything is kind of working according to the plan. So what I was saying previously, that in a way we might see a correction lower here, somewhere maybe towards this 2,200 zone. Currently today, I would say today it's acting as a good area of support. If it can continue doing that together with the 21-day EMA, then yes, another up move here could be possible. If it starts dropping below it, the 2,200 zone, and then drops below the 21-day EMA, then we might see a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. For the let's say, to consider larger extensions to the downside here, given that we are, let's say, quite overstretched here, maybe to the upside, well, I would prefer to see a break first of this upside line taken from the low the 23rd of December, and then yes, lower levels could be met. So for now, guys, long story short, if you want to go for a larger correction to the downside, wait for a drop below the 21-day EMA. If you want to go for even further declines, then wait for a break of this upside line. But at the moment, if this whole area right here, the 2,200 zone, together with the 21-day EMA, continues to provide support, another rebound here could be possible. AUDJPY, very quickly on this. So looking at the picture here, you can see that overall the pair is still trading above this upside line taken from the low the 19th of March. So yes, in a way everything's looking quite positive. You can see how well this 84.48 territory is holding here and providing good resistance. Now, if you want to go for the upside, well, pretty straightforward, guys. I mean, we need to see a break of that barrier. At the moment, we're not really seeing that break, so that's why we will stay careful here. I would say even cautiously bullish, because again, the trend is still to the upside, but we need that break here above this barrier in order to get a little bit more excited with the upside. For the downside, of course, a break of this upside line and a drop below the 83.03 territory right here is needed, and then yes, lower levels could be met. But at the moment, guys, let's be very careful and very cautious, and yeah, let's keep an eye on some of these levels. So for the downside, yes, as I said, this 83.03 territory is required. USDJPY pushing lower, and if you remember last week, I said that my next target is this highlighted area, which could, in a way, play out as a nice potential area of, or as a nice little neckline of a possible head and shoulders pattern. Now, although we're seeing currently a break of that so-called, if we can call it here, a neckline, a potential neckline, yes, this kind of is increasing the pair's chances of drifting further south here towards a larger correction towards this upside line taken from the low of the 6th of January. But again, don't get me wrong. I mean, the day is not finished. So for now, keep your eyes on this daily candle. If by any chance the daily candle drifts back up, stays above this potential neckline, and then reverses back to the upside, this is where it could become very interesting. Now, this is where we'll get, first of all, a nice false little breakout, and then we will consider maybe a bit of an up move here towards this area, the 109.23, roughly around here, guys. I'm not far from that 21-day EMA, because again, I don't want to push this one higher, because if it does act as a potential resistance, then another slide could be possible, and this is when we could but possibly confirm that idea of a potential head and shoulders pattern here. But again, like I said, I'm kind of keeping that idea as my secondary one. The primary right now is, of course, aiming for this upside line, because we're breaking this this key support zone here near the 108.34, and if we stay below this, then yes, of course, all eyes are on this upside support line here. GBPAUD, very quickly on this one, is pushing to the upside. It's trying to make its way higher here, of course. It didn't really reach the 1.7690 territory, which is the low of the 25th of February. So yeah, for now, I would say that the rate is pushing higher. However, can it move, let's say, further north? Well, that's going to be an interesting one to watch, because that might be a tricky part here, because again, we're still below this upside line, and another thing here is, of course, we're below this downside line right here, taken from the high of the 1st of April. So this downside line taken from the high of the 1st of April still needs to be broken in order to, let's say, consider the upside. And for the upside, to be honest, I would also like to wait maybe for a push above the 1.8072 territory right here, or above this 200-day EMA, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. And finally, EURUSD, so pushing nicely to the upside. Everything's working out well here today. So yeah, EURUSD is drifting north here, and yep, for now, all eyes are going to be on this downside resistance line, taken from the high of the 6th of January, and then we'll take it from there, of course, because at the moment, although we are aiming higher, that's only in the short run, just because we could see this move higher as a potential temporary correction. So keep your eyes on this, and keep your eyes on this 1.2113 territory here, marked by the high of the 3rd of March, or in other words, I think the highest point of March as well. There we go. Yep, the highest point of March near the 1.2113. That's my main target right now, together with this downside line, and then we'll take it from there, guys. So that's it for this session. I hope you found it useful, and thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end, guys. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes. I really do that, guys. I mean, appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yeah, if you want to catch my video tomorrow morning, as always, my Traders Espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.